On a Wednesday afternoon, this is Queen City News Plus Live. It's 3 o'clock. Thanks so much for joining us here from the Blue Room. I'm Derek Dellinger alongside Austin McCollum, who's going to be co-anchoring the show with me. He's on the other side of the monitors today. We got meteorologist Andrew Brightman, as well as our director for today, Kevin Pinto Rivera. Before we get to the news today, we do have some sad news.
Very sad.
Out of the entertainment world. James Van Der Beek, he had been best known as Dawson from Dawson's Creek, as well as you might remember from his role in Varsity Blues and him making fun of the persona, his hunky persona in later years. He died today at the age of 48. He'd been battling colorectal cancer. He leaves behind a wife and 6 children.
Very sad. I think a lot of people who grew up with him in the 90s,
Bunch of us
this
did.
is kind of a gut punch, especially for a lot of people in Hollywood and around. Again, like you said, survived by his wife and 6 children, diagnosed in August 2024. I believe we have a post up now on QCnews.com about him. And
we do. And we should mention as well, he'd been very public about his battle with cancer and his ways to overcome it. It was stage 3, I think, at the time it had been diagnosed. And
sold a bunch of his possessions to help fund treatment.
Yes, and so this is sad news. We're going to be probably getting some reaction from some of the people who know him best coming up in the next couple of days and weeks, so we want to be watching out for that. In the meantime, we do have a bunch of other news to get to today. Let's start out in El Paso, Texas, where there is it was kind of an interesting situation that happened there involving some airspace that was closed today, and federal authorities were basically saying this was due to some Mexican drug cartel activity near the border, since El Paso is right on the border with Mexico. But some lawmakers are questioning why that was why that was actually implemented in the first place, and they're also questioning too, just in general, about the need for it.
Well, you know, this kind of started last night. If you were up late, you might have saw some updates, early this morning, and potentially people believe it might have been tied to the Nancy Guthrie case. Kind of quickly came out, like you were saying, the FAA announced the closure at El Paso International Airport was originally, as they said, a 10-day closure, which is unprecedented since 9/11. They quickly reversed that. They opened everything back up several hours after closing down the airport. Secretary of Transportation Sean Duffy said the FAA and Pentagon shut down to, like you said, deal with a cartel drone. But as you're mentioning, there is a kind of a dispute with sources telling Reuters, the AP, that this was a miscommunication essentially between a test of a counter drone system using a high-powered laser at nearby Fort Bliss.
Yes. Local lawmakers made a point of saying that this was sudden. They got no notification of this whatsoever, which is something that they believe would be warranted. But some members of Congress are saying something doesn't add up here. Part of the reason is because they have a bunch of drones that do cross the border as it is anyway for drug activity. They caught tens of thousands of them, in fact, over the last year or so, within 500 meters or 1,600 feet of the border. And most of this action actually happens at night. And so they're basically saying, hey, it's like this action is not necessarily anything new. And Homeland Security has been very good anyway about catching these. So they're wondering, okay, what exactly was this emergency that led to what was a 10-day closure, but the airspace has since reopened?
Where was this miscommunication? Why was the Pentagon not alerted? And last thing I'll say, El Paso International Airport, 71st busiest airport in the country, about 4 million passengers annually. That's about 11,000 a day.
And that would have grounded all the flights that were actually going out of that airport as well, which would have not have been a good thing, especially for people traveling in and out of there. Other story, and Austin referenced this just a couple of minutes ago, Nancy Guthrie, that case is still active, and this comes as there was some breaking news that was actually out last night about a person being detained in connection with the case. That person has since been released and has told media that they do not know Nancy Guthrie, never really actually had been paying attention to the case. All the while, in the last 24 hours, we have also noted that, as you can see there, this is the footage, the images that came from the Nest camera and Nancy Guthrie's home, which shows a person in a mask and also trying to disable that Nest camera.
And that was a big part of the investigation was people had pointed out early on when we really didn't have a lot of information that, hey, we've seen that the Nest camera was kind of ripped off. Obviously, in the videos that they were able to scrounge together through help from Google, you can see him pulling up some weeds or flowers or plants trying to cover the camera. It was very weird.
With his hand too. It was kind of the motions that were there. So,
but one other thing that's come up today, it's something TMZ's reporting. You know, the founder of TMZ, Harvey Levin, talked to Fox News today. He said they had received a new note to an active Bitcoin account that says they will reveal the identity of the suspect connected to this case in exchange for 1 Bitcoin. That's about $66,000. Again, we don't know how accurate that might be, if this is a real note, but it's something that the authorities in El Paso, or excuse me, not El Paso, but in Tucson are looking into because, again, the leads, as far as the public knows, have been slim.
Yes, and we should also mention too, with everything that's kind of been going on with the case, the family still believes that Nancy Guthrie is alive too, which is an important thing, which is part of the reason that some of this active communication has been taking place. In addition to that, those ransom demands, the requests for money or for Bitcoin, at least in this circumstance too, has also been met with heavy scrutiny, not only from the family but also from local authorities as well. Other story happening today, also in D.C. This involves Attorney General Pam Bondi. She appeared before the House Judiciary Committee today, and questions. She had a lot of questions actually sent her way from both Democrats and Republicans, and some of it, a good portion of it, revolving around the Epstein files case, and then also allegations that the Justice Department is being weaponized in the current Trump administration.
You mentioned the Epstein case. That's, again, they've talked about a range of issues, with this being the first appearance for Bondi there since last October. Most of it focused on the Epstein files. I know Washington Representative Pramila Jayapal, there were several Epstein victims in the back row. She asked them, do you have faith in Pam Bondi and the DOJ to investigate this? And she said, raise your hands. Not a single one raised their hands. And there was also a moment, and we have a clip of it, very heated exchange, which kind of shows the partisan nature of today, between Pam Bondi and Representative Jerry Nadler, asking about indicting Epstein co-conspirators.
Revealed in the Epstein files. So I really have just one question for you. How many of Epstein's co-conspirators have you indicted? How many perpetrators are you even investigating?
First, you showed it. I find it.
How many have you indicted?
Excuse me. I'm going to answer the question.
Answer my question.
No, I'm going to answer the question the way I want to answer the question.
No,
Your
you're going to answer the
theatrics are
question the
ridiculous.
way I asked it.
Chairman Jordan, I'm not going to get in the gutter with these people, but I'm going to answer the question.
How many have you indicted?
Again, the time belongs to
Reclaiming my time.
The time belongs.
I think it's very interesting.
My time.
I think it's very interesting.
And you can
that
reclaim
he
your
talks
time.
about they indicted.
Mr.
The
Chairman.
president said they.
And that's really been a lot of what we've seen today, is this kind of, the Democratic side of the aisle at this committee really grilling Bondi about immigration, their actions in Minneapolis, Chicago, the Epstein involvement. And then with the exception of Kentucky Republican Thomas Massie, a lot of Republicans backing Bondi up, backing up the DOJ.
Yes, and Attorney General Bondi, let's be blunt with ourselves here. She spent a good portion mocking Democrats that were asking these questions, and very pointed questions towards her and towards some of the conduct of the Trump administration, of which she was defending wholeheartedly, not only defending President Trump, but also the Trump administration and the policies that they've implemented. One of the more interesting back and forths, though, was between Thomas Massie, because Thomas Massie has been one of the people wanting the release of the Epstein files, and what was interesting here is that he was asking some very fair questions. What it can be argued here about the Epstein case, and she responded in not necessarily in a mocking way, but basically did accuse Massie of having Trump derangement syndrome.
She called him a hypocrite.
Hypocrite, yeah.
But again, we will say on the other side of this, a lot of Republicans from Texas, from Florida, full-heartedly backing Bondi and the work she's doing, especially when it comes to prosecuting people in the country illegally.
Yes.
And I believe this started at 10 a.m. and I believe it's still going.
I believe it's still going on. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Long day of testimony is specifically for the House Judiciary Committee. Number 4 story today involves, it's a little bit more local, but still involves regional interest of a nationally known case, Alex Murdaugh. Lawyers for him, at least, they're trying to appeal to the state Supreme Court to try to get his murder convictions overturned. Now, they're not necessarily going after the whole case, just the murder convictions that involve the convictions for killing his wife Maggie, as well as his son. He's saying he didn't do it. He's maintaining he didn't do it, even after all this time. He might, the way the Associated Press noted, it's like he's willing to admit his guilt in a lot of things, but not necessarily any admission in the deaths of his wife and son.
And one thing with that, even if he wins his appeal, he's still the 57-year-old. He has a 40-year federal prison sentence for stealing more than $12 million from his clients. He's admitted to that.
Yes.
A big crux of the defense's argument today is that he was prevented from having a fair trial. They're saying that a lot of evidence detailing him stealing from his clients was allowed in court that biased the jury.
Yeah, and there were also some leaks associated with the case as well of someone that actually wound up getting charged for those leaks. In addition to that, he also says that there's just a simple sheer lack of physical evidence. At least that's what his lawyers are saying, at least at this point. Something we're going to be keeping an eye on. And keep in mind, this is very much a case that a lot of eyes are still on, even after all this time, even after the convictions. People still kind of want to know the twists and turns because, I mean, frankly, TV movies have been made out of this because this has been that much of a drama. In a very literal sense, at least in the courts.
So as we move on to our last top story today, I'll ask you this: do you want the good news or the bad news about the jobs report today?
Tell me the good news. I'll give the bad news.
Good news here: U.S. employers added 130,000 jobs to payrolls last month. That is almost double the estimation of 75,000. Strong data on U.S. jobs. Hopefully, this can be good for companies driving profits. One other little bit to that, again, that might keep the Fed from cutting interest rates if they're seeing the success. We've seen the Dow cross 50,000 today. The S&P performed well. One thing I will say, healthcare accounted for more than 60% of last month's new jobs. Factories also adding 5,000. That snapped a 13-month streak of job losses in that sector.
That is the glass half full. Now for the glass half empty here. So as the jobs report did have a bunch of revisions on it for last year's numbers. In fact, the major revision here, it actually reduced the number of jobs created last year. Now, the number that we were given before this revision was 584,000 jobs were created last year. That's been revised, and it's been revised to only 181,000. And that is the weakest jobs number since the pandemic. And that cannot be understated, at least at this point. That is something that is causing a little bit of worry, at least on some job markets and quite frankly, in some economic indicators.
It's why we've seen so much uncertainty today. I mean, we saw a nice surge this morning with the Dow as one indicator, and then it's kind of faltered after that and kind of fell flat. But enough about jobs. Let's talk about the weather as we go live outside West Charlotte as we take a look at the Charlotte skyline. Andrew,
this is why you're all
very
really here, right?
Yes, yes. And I didn't even have to take my jacket out at all this morning. It was really nice.
Hasn't it been lovely, guys?
Yes, it has.
It's beautiful.
I mean, the snow. We still do have the snow mound in the
park.
The snow mound
is truly life-giving. How nice it is to like have the window cracked.
Yes,
have the music on. I love it.
It just feels comfortable out there.
What are you jamming to?
Ooh, New Radicals.
Oh, dude, love.
I can't sing it because of some copyright laws here.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Dude, great song, man.
Yeah, you only get what you
give.
give.
Props there. Yeah. Jump into your forecast here before we start just talking about all of Austin's interests here. We've got clearing skies this afternoon. Maybe a little bit of sunshine here before the sun sets. We got a cooler second half of the week setting up here across the Carolinas. Temperatures, we're going from the mid to upper 60s today down to the mid to upper 50s here for both your Thursday and Friday. And we aren't tracking weekend wet weather specifically once we get to your Sunday. Charlotte Live Cam, there's the sunshine. And yeah, Derek, you're loving this. We've gotten shorts weather here across the Carolinas. Temperatures up around the 70-degree mark. Notice the dew point, how dramatically it's fallen compared to earlier. That is highlighting the cooler, drier air moving in. It will be chilly tomorrow morning. Derek, make sure you got the jackets ready to go, man, okay? No. You're welcome. Beach Mountain Camp, we've got a little bit of skiers and snowboarders out there. They'll blow a little bit of snow tonight, but definitely not the amazing conditions they had about a week to a week and a half ago after the big storm. Radar, still a couple of sprinkles trying to hold on down across the Sandhills. Otherwise, though, we got sunshine here throughout the Carolinas, and along with those really mild temperatures. Front has moved through. You'll get the northwesterly winds. The temperatures will start to drop fairly quickly here as we head into the evening hour. 70 in Concord right now, 68 in Albemarle. Notice the mid to upper 40s, though, up across the mountains where that colder air is already beginning to move on in. Compared to 24 hours ago, notice how everyone is already a little bit cooler as that front starts to move in. Talking more about the cooler air and what's on the way for your weekend. My pinpoint forecast in just a few minutes.
Valentine's Day rain.
Well, day before Valentine's
Day before Valentine's Day.
I think we should be dry for Valentine's Day.
Okay. We'll talk about it coming up in a few minutes. All right. I have a question for the parents watching right now, and I know Kevin's the only parent in the room and Lila's too young for this.
I have cats. It doesn't count?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Okay. Would you let your kids skip school to go to a Super Bowl parade?
Yes.
One city right now saying, you got to come. Attendance policies are in effect today.
And honestly, that doesn't surprise me considering where it's at.
But I have some fun numbers. We'll talk about it coming up on the other side of the break. You're watching Queen City News Plus Live. We'll be right back.
3:17. This is Queen City News Plus Live as we take a look out at Independence Boulevard. The relatively calm conditions that are out there, traffic-wise, and also for that matter, with the clouds. We've got Andrew Brightman here with your forecast coming up in just a couple of moments. Let's talk about the monks. You might remember that the Buddhist monks that made their way through Charlotte a while back, they are back, and they've actually completed their trip to D.C.
15 weeks, starting in October, walking from Texas all the way to the nation's capital, hundreds of stops, thousands of people. And again, they say this is all just for peace.
Yes.
There's no overarching, there's no advocacy. There's no push for legislation. They're just promoting peace.
Yes. Leaders in D.C., they did make a point of honoring their journey. They to promote, and the direct quote here is peace over conflict. They also had a guided meditation session outside the National Cathedral, which, as you can see, was interfaith because several people of various backgrounds were there as well. This has really got a lot of attention, especially here in Charlotte when it initially happened. But each mile along their journey, a lot of people were either watching or they were supporting them, or they were either watching from the sidelines or they were watching some of the live streams that were actually happening of their walk.
You could tell there was a desire for something like this. We saw so many large crowds, and I know when we sent one of our photojournalists out there, he was like, I can hardly find a place to park to get to him.
Yeah, and at this point, since their journey is done, they will be heading back to Texas. Of course, the big question are they going to be flying back or the journey back? I'm not exactly sure. From what I'm told, they will not be walking back to Texas.
Hopefully they fly back.
But it would be a situation where they either fly or at least take a bus back to where they were in Texas.
They've earned it. All right, let's talk basketball. Charlotte Hornets tonight at 7 versus the Atlanta Hawks. They are going to be without Miles Bridges and Moussa Diabate because today the NBA announced the suspensions from the Monday night brawl at the Spectrum Center. 4 players.
Yes.
Served against.
Yes. Isaiah Stewart, Miles Bridges, Moussa Diabate, and Jalen Duren. Isaiah Stewart got a 7-game suspension. Let's see, Miles and Moussa, they got 4 games. Jalen Duren got a 2-game suspension. And this is all from this fight that you see right here that happened earlier this week here at the Spectrum Center that quite honestly made national headlines.
And I will say with Stewart, the NBA, and they put out a statement today, they said, look, based on, and I think a lot of NBA fans know this, Stewart's past history of unsportsmanlike conduct for coming off the bench, for escalating the fight. That's why he got a heavier suspension than everyone else. I know a lot of fans are happy LaMelo didn't catch a suspension from this. So just it's a fun time. I know we talked to a couple fans who were in attendance there Monday night, and I think everyone said the same thing. You don't like to see violence in the sport, but it's nice to see the fight.
It was also, I will say, the reaction from, and this was Joey Ellis. Charlotte Sports Live's Carolina Sports Live's Joey Ellis, who shot this video, by the way. He put it up on his social media, and the words, or shall we say something that can be repeated on social media, but I will not repeat here, about his reaction to it, and it was a very warranted reaction. I will put it to you that way.
I got some fight in them. Let's see if they make the playoffs.
Yes.
Feeling the buzz.
Yeah. Speaking of playoffs, and well, not necessarily buzz per se, but
there's some people who are buzzed at this.
They are probably buzzed, and probably a little bit more than that. Let's just be honest, because it's Seattle. But the Super Bowl parade. It's happening today. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, it's happening right now, right?
It is right now. Do we have the live pictures, Kevin? Oh, there we go.
There we go.
So, again, this is going down 4th Avenue in Seattle. Started a few hours ago. I want to say about 2 hours ago. They did a trophy reveal at Lumen Field. Stadium was absolutely packed. You had some of the legends like Steve Rabel, one of the first people drafted for the Seahawks when they started as a team. I used to work with him in Seattle. He was an anchor. But, again, just a beautiful sight. Seattle Police Department anticipating 1 million fans lining the street from Lumen Field down to the Seattle Center, which – if you're unfamiliar, that's near the Space Needle. My favorite thing was Seattle Police putting out a note. I believe this was a day or two ago. Don't drive into Seattle tomorrow. I repeat, do not drive into Seattle tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, look at this. This is, if you've ever been there, 4th Avenue, I mean, like, this is packed. You are shoulder to shoulder with Hawks fans. Pretty much everyone has a jersey or a shirt on.
Yeah, and there's a question here that we put before the break about the fact that there might be a lot of kids in that audience that are probably in the streets as well. Seattle schools say that they are open today with attendance policies in place, so this will not be accounted as an excused absence.
Nope. You will have the mark against you. Now, one fun thing, I talked to a friend of mine who anchors out there. 2014, their last Super Bowl parade, there was about 13,000 students absent from Seattle public schools. That was about a quarter of their full attendance.
Yes.
So there will be a lot out there today.
And you have to realize that this is not necessarily the kids probably doing this. This is the parents
Oh,
wanting
yeah.
their kids. It's the parents wanting their kids to actually see this. And
Come see this.
honestly, it's like, hey, it's like they're the ones like, hey, you can take the day off because today's a day to celebrate.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's where the first Super Bowl parade. Last one, they probably weren't even born. All right. Let's go from Seattle back to Independence Boulevard, where we kind of talked about this a little bit at the end, Andrew. And I know the models and the forecasts have kind of changed, but
I just wanted to point out,
I'm seeing some shaking
as
too.
a Patriots fan, truancy is a crime.
All
Seattle
right.
fans out there with their children.
But also, if the Patriots win, how many people take off in Boston?
Well, because up in Boston, there's no such thing as missing school. You go to the parade, okay, on Boylston Street. All right,
it's a holiday.
It's a holiday.
They would have closed schools.
Yeah,
of course, dude.
Yeah.
All the people coming in. I was gonna start breaking into a Boston accent, but I don't want to do that.
That's another show.
That's another show.
Yeah.
that's another movie. Let's be honest with ourselves.
My dad can do it. Well, my dad is from there. Anyway, Charlotte live cam right now, 69 degrees currently outside. Light and variable winds, incredible weather. It really has been over the past couple of days here across the Carolinas. Light and variable winds. The humidity is falling and is getting very, very dry out there across the region. Let's get on over to radar right now. Not much going on here. We got the sunshine moving in across the Carolinas. Clouds and radar frontal boundaries move through. We got drier air moving on in across the region currently. Temperatures mid to upper 50s here, middle 60s in the QC, and then we get down towards the coastline here. Temperatures right around the 80-degree marker. So as we get towards Mobile and Tallahassee, just a whirlwind of the past couple of weeks here across the southeast. Up across the northeast, they have much colder temperatures moving in for us here. We'll see temperatures for the rest of the week getting maybe down to around average, maybe slightly below it across the Carolinas. But you want the blowtorch? Yeah, this isn't just the red for Valentine's Day. This is the above average temperatures on the way as we get towards the latter part of next week, setting up across the Carolinas. It's going to be getting toasty out there, but I know Derek's excited about that. I'm going to miss the snow. But Derek, Austin, you guys are psyched.
Yes, yes, we are.
The shorts are coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I wish I could wear those.
Yeah, well, just imagine how pasty my legs are going to be.
I'm ready. Yeah. I'm preparing myself right now, Derek.
Yes.
Futurecast as we go throughout the overnight hours. Mostly clear skies. It will be chilly. Can't bring out the shorts just yet, Derek. Tomorrow morning, we're down probably around the freezing mark or so in Charlotte. Mostly clear skies. Heading into the afternoon, we'll see some sunshine. There's those cooler temperatures, though, I'm talking about as we get up into the mid to upper 50s here across the region. Moving forward, a few fair weather clouds. Carbon copy Thursday night into Friday here. Dip down to around the freezing mark, mostly clear skies. And then as we go throughout your Friday here, we'll see those temperatures again moving up likely towards the mid and upper 50s here throughout the Carolinas, relatively seasonal. Weekend forecast, specifically your Sunday. Saturday, Valentine's Day should be dry, but overnight Saturday, heading into your Sunday, what weather will start to move in? Big storm off to our west. Maybe about 4 or 5 days ago, there was some potential about maybe if we had a little bit more cold air out in front of the system, we could be talking about winter weather. That just does not look to be the case this time. Going to be not really a cold rain, just kind of a rain with temperatures in the 50s here on your Sunday, but looking increasingly like a complete washout, though, as we go throughout the second half of your weekend before it does clear out as we go into your Monday and we get dry and relatively comfortable temperatures again setting up across the Carolinas. Not really a true cold front that's going to be moving through with this system, but this rainfall is needed across the region. We got severe drought conditions here across the Carolinas, so we will appreciate the rain. Day planner overnight, mostly clear skies. Temperatures heading down into the middle 30s, down to around the freezing mark here in Charlotte. Elsewhere, temperatures also dipping down, probably likely into the 20s for some. Pinpoint 7-day forecast here. We got that wet weather increasingly likely here on your Sunday, and then temperatures really don't take a huge dip as we go into next week. So don't have to worry about winter weather for the foreseeable future.
I know you said a week or so ago, you're like, you feel like we're kind of done for the season when it comes to snow.
Well, I mean, statistically speaking,
yeah.
I mean, we picked up about 3 or 4 years worth of snow in about 30 hours. So, you know,
and considering we haven't seen it in years here in Charlotte, it's
Here's hoping.
Yeah, we'll be back right after this. This is Queen City News Plus Live. We do have one final story to tell you about. This one's actually pretty interesting. Happened in Nashville. It involved a guy that, let's just say he was in some very substantive legal trouble. He was trying to hide from apparently from authorities when he was found thanks to some thermal imaging. Take a look.
Side by side, the one on the left side, if you're looking at the trash cans, once you see them, the one on the left side is glowing red hot.
Yeah, so the guy...
All right, they made contact with an individual inside a trash can.
Everyone owe you dinner.
I like ribeye steak.
The thermal imaging, they were able to find that the guy was in that trash can. It's really hard to see from that vantage point because
they saw him.
Yeah, they saw him though. Picked him up, basically saying, yeah, that thing's flaming red hot. He's like, he's in there. He's in there.
He's
they were able to find them, but the back and forth between the, it's like, yeah, oh, your dinner. I like ribeye steak.
Yeah. They, they had an idea that this guy, 26-year-old Kevin Haynes, was around this area. And then once their chopper unit got overhead, they're like, we're going to make quick work of this. Yeah, he's right there.
That's the thing about the FLIR and the imaging, thermal imaging cameras. You can find out a lot about that. More than you can hope to know. And this actually didn't necessarily help this guy out.
Yeah. Yeah. But thanks for watching, everyone. This is Queen City News Plus Live. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.